Welcome, baseball family, to our Thursday Night Live. I am Brad, and as you would expect, I'm joined by our guy, Brig. Welcome, as usual, Brig. How are you today?
Well, I'm great. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
I'm glad that you're doing great. We have so much good stuff to talk about today because we're headed towards the All-Star break. We're only a couple weeks away, which means, Brig,
yes,
that the All-Star voting is beginning to wind down. They're in the final stage, 2 for every position, 2 starters for every position. We're going to give you, it's pretty much up to the minute on MLB.com, right? Where they have their sliders on the page there so you can see who is where. So we're going to go through it real quick just to give you a current update. You can go vote for your favorite player if their race is close. Most of them I feel like are pretty well decided.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like, for instance, American League first base, we've got Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Ty France. Vlad's got that one at 66% so far. And then Paul Goldschmidt in the National League has it at 67% over Polar Bear Pete Alonso, 67 to 33%. Second base in the American League, you've got Jose Altuve over who is that for second base for the Blue Jays? I feel like Blue Jays fans have come out in droves.
They are
to support their guy, Espinal. I don't even know who he is, Brig. I'm gonna be honest with you. It feels a lot like that.
He's a second baseman in Toronto.
Yes. Other than that, it feels like that year. Remember when the Royals had like 7 starters?
Yeah.
In the All-Star game because they had some kind of incentive.
14 or 15 or something.
Yeah. It was one of those years, but they had some kind of incentive for their fans to come out and vote. So they had like 7 guys starting. It kind of feels like the Blue Jays are in that territory right now. But Altuve is up 56% to 44%. In the National League, we've got Jazz Chisholm Jr. over Ozzie Albies at 58 to 42%. Third base in the American League, Rafael Devers and Jose Ramirez, 59% for Devers, 41% for Ramirez. And then the National League
Rafael
at third base.
Devers. Gosh, dang it.
The National League, this is one of the tightest races because it literally cannot get any tighter than this. Knotted at 50%. You've got Manny Machado and Nolan Arenado.
Yep.
So if you feel strongly about either, go vote. Go vote for them. Either way.
Brad,
then we've...
Okay, I'll ask you in a minute.
Okay. All right. Shortstop of the American League, we got Tim Anderson and Bo Bichette. Anderson's up 55% to 45%. And then again, shortstop of the National League is knotted at 50%. Trey Turner and Dansby Swanson. And you know what? If you had told me 2 years ago that Dansby Swanson would be in contention for the starting spot in the All-Star game against Trey Turner, I would have told you we're crazy.
Crazy.
Absolutely
That's
crazy.
That's exactly what I'd have said. Yeah.
And then we have our catchers. We have Alejandro Kirk, again, another Blue Jay, and Jose Trevino with the Yankees. Kirk is up 74% to 26%. Trevino has been like kind of a stud since he got brought up, right?
Totally.
So, it's interesting that Kirk is the guy there, but at the same time, generally
a lot of
speaking,
noise right now.
He is. Generally speaking, I feel like catching is a weak position in the American League right now.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, I would say so.
If Cal Raleigh continued on his current trend and he had another month before the All-Star break, it might be him. But then on the other hand, that he's playing in the Northwest, so maybe not. But anywho, And then in the National League, you've got Wilson Contreras at 64%, Travis d'Arnaud at 36%. Contreras is going to wrap that up. I mean,
yeah, he should.
Yeah.
Although d'Arnaud's my starter on fantasy, so.
Well, and he's number 2 in the All-Star voting, so you know he's doing well.
Yeah.
And then in the outfield, Aaron Judge is your top vote getter. He has clinched the All-Star starting position.
Yep.
And then the rest of the way, you've got Mike Trout, Giancarlo Stanton, George Springer, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. 2 Blue Jays there, Brig. 2 Blue Jays. 4 guys fighting for 2 spots. Trout is in the lead right now, 39%. Stanton 22%. Springer 21%. And Gurriel Jr. 18%. And then in the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. is your National League top vote getter. So he's clinched his starting spot. And then you've got Mookie Betts at 35%, Jock Peterson at 31%, Starling Marte at 20%, and Adam Duvall with the Braves also at 14%. Designated hitters, Shohei Ohtani and Yordan Alvarez, 51% to 49% respectively. Ohtani's got the edge there, but I mean, he's going to be in the All-Star game regardless. I don't know if the Angels don't want him to pitch or not, but he's going to be in the All-Star game no matter what. And then this one's interesting to me, Brig. In the National League for the DH, you've got Bryce Harper at 57%. And then William Contreras at 43%. Bryce Harper's been out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's still
and playing halfway for even longer.
Yeah. I mean, it's appropriate for his position because he's been DHing, right? When he was playing, he was DHing because of the elbow issue.
Yeah.
But he continues to get votes despite not being healthy enough to play in the All-Star game.
Or at all.
Right. Yeah, or at all.
So there's no evidence to vote on him.
Right. But here's one thing that was crazy to me, Brig. Like, I wanted to bring this up because I don't vote for the All-Star game.
Right.
Specifically because there are eventually there are financial incentives that are tied to guys getting voted in the All-Star game, and it affects their future contract negotiations. Like, they'll walk into contract negotiations in 2 years from now and say, hey, I was a 2022 All-Star. Yeah, we cannot argue that. But the fans voted you in, Fernando Tatis Jr., because you did not play any games to that point. Tatis has not played a single game to this point this season, and he was still 5th in the National League shortstop voting.
I know.
Like, come on.
The whole National League.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It bugs me. It really bugs me. And I don't feel like I can contribute to something like that. So that's why I don't vote. Am I like off the rails with that, Brig, or is that reasonable?
No, it's totally reasonable. However, I do think you're on an island. I don't think you're all the way by yourself, but you're on an island. Here's the thing so I agree with you wholeheartedly that it is a little bit of an unfair advantage that fans get to vote. However, I do believe fans should continue to be the ones making this decision. And here's why. I've thought a lot about this, okay? And I even have notes, so pardon me while I read them because I don't want to mess this up. My biggest thing is that it gives Major League Baseball a real-time pulse on what the fans are thinking, how engaged they are, where they are when they're engaged, because they're tracking all that location metrics, they're tracking voter frequency, they're tracking all kinds of things. I'm sure they are. They want as much information as possible with which to make decisions specifically regarding marketing, because that is how they make their money. Now, we can see that Fernando Tatis Jr. is clearly being marketed effectively. He was MLB The Show 21's cover guy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it any surprise that he's getting a lot of votes? We got Ohtani's MLB The Show 22. Is it any surprise he's getting the votes? So now some of this is Major League Baseball promotion. Some of this is personal promotion. Some of it is other deals these guys are doing on their own with different, marketing deals they're making with companies and things like that. But I think it gives Major League Baseball really great insight into where the fans are, where the fans' heads and hearts are, etc. I don't think they'll ever get rid of it for that reason alone. But Here's the other thing. Major League Baseball is doing everything they can to keep the fan base engaged, to keep it exciting, to keep things rolling. So you simply, for that reason alone, cannot remove one of the most intimate and interactions the fans have with the sport and with the game in general, the whole league. This is one of the only times where the fans are truly involved other than sitting at the stadium and making a bunch of noise. Major League Baseball would be absolutely ludicrous to remove that opportunity from their fans. And if they were going to do that, they would have to replace it multiple times. It wouldn't just be a 1-for-1. They would have to replace it. Like, give me 2 or 3 things that I can do to make up for it, because they're all so new and I don't know if I'm going to like them. I don't know if it's going to stick. So you have to, if you're going to make this transaction and take away my ability to vote on the All-Star Game, then I absolutely have to have more coming my way. Is the way, and they're never going to look at it that way. But as fans, I think we are seeing it that way. And so for those reasons, they're never going to do that. They're never going to take it away.
And I totally agree with you. And the big thing with it as well is that who's the All-Star Game for?
It's for the fans. That's right.
And so if the fans want to see Albert Pujols put on an All-Star jersey one more time, and they let Major League Baseball know that by voting, then by gum, put Albert Pujols in the All-Star Game one more time for one last hurrah. In fact, one thing that I think is actually really cool is that there is the commissioner's clause, the All-Star Game clause, where he can grab anybody, any legend, whoever, it's like the legend clause or whatever. He can grab them and say, you know what, you have earned the right to play in this All-Star Game. So Albert Pujols clearly is going to be that guy.
Yep.
Right.
Should be.
If he's not, then he's wrong, but he should be that guy who's brought into the All-Star Game because he is a living legend in the game. So, and that's the big thing, is that I don't fault anybody for voting. I don't look down on anybody. It's just my personal thing. I'm I don't want to contribute to that because I'm just a fan. Right. So that's just my thing.
Makes sense. I'm going to do a little bit of...
I brought that up before. I can't remember.
Yeah, but you didn't touch on it quite as hard. And I think it's good that we brought it up because everybody's probably caught in some variation of this engagement, whether they're on your side or mine. Here's the thing that's interesting. I looked it up. The All-Star Game the All-Stars were selected by the managers from 1933 to 46. And then in 1947, they gave the fans the opportunity to vote in the entire lineup. And
start to finish, up top to bottom.
Everybody. The problem is that stopped in 1957 when Cincinnati Reds fans stuffed the ballot box and selected 7 Reds and Stan Musial.
That's so funny.
Okay, so Commissioner Ford Frick in 1957, 58 or whatever, he stepped in and he said, "No, we're not going to do that anymore." And now it changed, and then since 1970, the fans have elected the starting lineup, one player for each position, other than the pitcher, for both the leagues. So that's the way it goes.
Nice. Well, and
7 Reds and Stan Musial in
so
1957.
That's so good. So good. But anyway, voting ends Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're going to vote, get your votes in. Like I said, there's a couple that are really, really close. And so if you want to have some say, get in there. Because you can vote once a day, every day, for as long as voting is open.
For the whole
so if you've already voted, go ahead and vote again.
Yeah, it's not a one-off thing. You vote every day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So good.
Absolutely. For sure. Let's go ahead and move on, break from this. But before we get too far, don't forget to check out the big show, the Baseball Together podcast, every Tuesday. During this week's episode, we'll be assigning walk-up music to some of the All-Star Game participants, because by the time we get there, we should know who's playing, who's not, all that fun stuff. This is one of the most popular things we do according to the numbers that we see. So you want to check it out. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the episodes, this one or any coming, because we have some awesome episodes coming up. Not to say that the others aren't awesome, but we have some great episodes coming up that we're very excited about. Again, that is published every Tuesday morning wherever you get your podcast, and also on the YouTubes. Now, Brig, there are some things going on this season that we did not see coming, that nobody saw coming. So I pulled this article off of MLB.com.
It's a great article.
Called it baseball.com periodically.
Yeah.
It's called 10 storylines no one could have predicted. Brig, you want to run us through some of these really quick? Because these are amazing.
First, I got to give a shout out to my dad. He's watching this live broadcast, and he's awesome. So thanks, Dad. Thanks for joining here. He just commented, and he said he can stuff the ballot each day until the game. That's right, Dad. You got it. All right, so a couple of these. I'm just going to go down the list because I thought this was a really well-formulated list. I loved every bullet point they brought up. So number one of the top 10 storylines nobody could have predicted for the 2022 season. Number one, the Mets have not yet had a healthy, full Jacob deGrom or Max Scherzer, and they're still one of the best teams in baseball. Two of the most dominant pitchers in the entire game are ridiculously unavailable for a long, long time, and it doesn't matter, and that is nuts. The Mets still continue to kill it. They're still in my diamond tier of the power rankings, and it's awesome. Brad demoted them, and I didn't appreciate that, but that's okay. He can have his opinion.
All you should care about is the fact that I kept the Yankees there, but they're firmly cemented.
Yeah, firmly they did that themselves. I didn't have anything to do with it. Speaking of the Yankees, that comes to number two. Speaking of the Yankees, they're not just a special team, right? Everybody's like, wow, the Yankees are so good this year, and that's true, but they might be one of the best teams ever in baseball. We're talking forever in baseball.
Let's talk about this for just a minute, Brig, because I pulled some numbers on this. So my Mariners, that's right, my Mariners hold the single season the win record, the single season win record, with 116 wins. Well, that was in 2001, and through 82 games, which the Yankees were going into Thursday. The Mariners were 61-21. To put that into perspective, to put the Yankees' run so far into perspective, the Yankees through 82 games are 59-23. With a team that feels like it's winning every single day, they're still not on pace for 116 wins, but they're darn close. They are darn close to it, and they're going to win a whole lot. They could be north of 110 easily by the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think they could get to 116.
They could. They're going to have – I mean, like I said, because they're paced, they're going to have to go on a little bit more of a streak at some point. Maybe win 4 games or 5 games instead of 4, or 6 games instead of 5. But at the same time, though, like, that's an incredible pace.
Yeah.
An absolutely incredible pace.
Well, and Aaron Judge is on pace to clobber over 60 home runs. 60, but maybe more. And that would set the franchise record.
Yes,
the single season record is what, 74? Doesn't Barry Bonds have 74?
I think he has 74. Yeah. I think he beat Mark McGwire by 1.
Yeah,
that's
what I think. But it's a crazy amount. So Aaron Judge is having an incredible year, and he's still only on pace to hit 60. I say only with a great deal of chagrin and also context. Right. Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire.
Firmly in cheek. And a couple of last things here that's crazy. So the Baseball Reference has the Yankees at greater than 99.9% to make the playoffs. They're a lock. They're going to make the playoffs. They'd have to lose like 50 games in a row to not. But then 31.5% to win the World Series. But if you put that into betting odds, that's still not a favorite. Because WinBet has the Yankees at plus 450 to win the World Series, but the Dodgers are the favorite at plus 425. You're still getting plus money on them, which is nice.
Yeah,
but at the same time, though, I think the Dodgers are your betting favorite. According to WinBet, I don't know that I would necessarily put my money there. But anyway. All right, Brig, back to these storylines that are so fascinating.
Number 3, the Astros have upgraded their shortstop, which is nuts because when they moved Correa and he went to Minnesota, of all the most ridiculous places, we did not see. Now, don't sleep on Minnesota. That's not what I'm saying. Minnesota is fielding a great ball club this year. But for him to have chosen to go to Minnesota, who was kind of the sleeping dog in the American League for a long while, it was kind of a big deal. But they have not suffered one bit in Houston having lost Carlos Correa. And it's absolutely insane. They've got Jeremy Pena, who is a legitimate Rookie of the Year candidate. I think that's true. I don't think he's going to win, but I think it's a legitimate candidacy, right, Brad? Would you agree?
Yeah. I'd say Julio Rodriguez 1, Jeremy Pena 2 is the way it's going to be.
Yep. So his defense is great. It's always good, but it says here, offense has been a revelation, and that's the thing that I don't think anybody saw coming, because Correa's offense was kind of immutable, right? Everybody knew Correa was an offensive performer, and his defense was impeccable. So for them to have doubled down and got what they needed out of a rookie is insane.
Yeah,
totally unexpected.
Big time.
And they're scary all the way around still.
Oh, they're so scary. I hate those guys. But anyway,
I do too.
And speaking of a shortstop, another one is that the Padres would lose Fernando Tatis Jr. for an extended period of time and be better. Now, based on things that we saw toward the end of the season last year, you'd think that maybe it was going to happen, but I don't think we actually expected it to be for them to be this much better for this sustainable amount of time. Now, they could fall off a cliff like they did last year after the All-Star break.
Totally.
That could happen. But if he comes back and then is kind of like the reinforcement and revitalizes the clubhouse, like, hey, help has arrived, then I think that could be a big deal for them.
Yeah.
Another one is the White Sox are under 500.
What? I mean, I know. I read the article, but that's how everybody feels about it. It's like, what?
So I'll be honest. So I looked at my predictions from the beginning of the season. I didn't have the White Sox winning the division because I wasn't completely sold on them, but I figured they'd finish over 500 and maintain an above 500 record for the majority of the season, but that has not been the case.
Nope. Did I have them winning the division? I feel like I did.
I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think I would have given it to Minnesota.
I could not have been more wrong with calling Detroit, though. Like, I'll own that.
Oh,
right now,
please.
That ain't
Detroit
happening.
Was a mess.
Continues to be a mess.
Maybe this Tuesday we should check in on our predictions and see how we're feeling about halfway through the season.
I think we should. I think you're right.
Okay, so speaking of the Twins, this part I thought was awesome. The number 6 on the list is that Luis Arias, they're calling, MLB.com is calling him the new Wade Boggs. They're saying that he's having an all-star season straight out of 1991, if not an MVP season. And I think that is absolutely correct. And here's the reason why. He is hitting 346 on the season. He's got a 419 OBP. Those are both the highest marks in the American League overall, across the whole league. And he's helping the Twins really have a stranglehold on that first place slot in the Central. So,
yeah, big deal.
Do you like this comparison, Brad? Wade Boggs to Luis Arias?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, he's doing Wade Boggs stuff, right?
Yeah.
As long as he's doing Wade Boggs stuff, I'm fine with it.
Here's the thing I liked most about this article, this bullet point in the article. They brought it to my attention that Ichiro and Rod Carew, Hall of Famer Rod Carew, for you Adam Sandler fans out there, Ichiro and Hall of Famer Rod Carew came out and said that he is their current favorite player. I loved that.
Quite the endorsement. Quite the endorsement.
Number 7, the Cardinals would have 3 of the best position players in baseball. True story. They're all in the infield, by the way, and still be 3 games out of first place.
The Cardinals
are the
big name team in the Central. They feel like they're every year one of the top 10 teams in the league, and yet the Brewers continue to quietly own that division.
I have no idea what's going on.
It's crazy. It
is crazy.
Insane. And it's especially funny with all the trash that Cubs fans talk about American Family. What is American Family Stadium up in Milwaukee?
Yeah, up in Milwaukee.
Being Wrigley North.
Yeah.
But the Brewers continue to own the division. So
they do.
It's crazy.
Well, do you think it comes down to management? Is it a manager thing?
It might be. I mean, I feel like the Brewers have one of the best bullpens in the game. They have a really strong starting rotation. They've really kind of ironed things out over the last couple weeks, and they're a really good team. They're formidable.
They're a really good team. Juan Soto is hitting 226. For him, this is basement level stuff. This is like an average catcher who's really good defensively is going to be around 226, and the league would be okay with it. But because it's Juan Soto, not okay. No bueno.
He hit 313 last year.
Yeah, this is zero bueno, actually.
Yeah. I honestly
lose 100 points?
I think what it is, I think he's distracted. I think that the contract negotiations are weighing heavily on his mind, to be honest with you. And if you're not 100% in the box, you're going to hit 213 if you're a Juan Soto. That's my 226. That's my opinion. I don't know that it's necessarily the case. That's what it feels like, because there have been a lot of numbers been thrown around about the Nats trying to extend him.
A lot. Yeah, you're right.
So
and I mean, the dude could bunt a home run. So
pretty much, yeah.
It's you're right. He could just fall asleep at the box and hit 226 and it'd be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my favorite one. I'm just going to read the whole thing. Can I read the whole thing?
Go for it. Yeah, and then we'll move
one
on.
paragraph. Okay. Number 9, Kris Bryant has 1 homer. 1. Fans had been wondering, quoting MLB.com, fans had been wondering for years what a player with the pure power of Kris Bryant would do at Coors Field, And for all the debates surrounding his huge contract with Colorado, there was still excitement about what he'd look like in Denver. Well, looks like the Rockies' 81st game, halfway through the first season of his 7-year contract, for him to hit his first homer. It took to the 81st game. And then it came on the road at Dodger Stadium. Okay, yes, he's been hurt much of the year, but it still took until his 102nd plate appearance. Seems like it shouldn't have taken that long, right?
I am relieved as a Mariners fan that he didn't come to Seattle.
Oh, holy moly.
I mean,
you guys wanted him bad.
Oh, so bad. So bad. Him and Story. Like, Story's panned out for sure in Boston. But could you imagine, like, I'd be a wreck. Haniger, Kyle Lewis, and Kris Bryant out. This season would be completely gone.
It would be.
Man, unreal. That's crazy, though. All right, and then the last one is Shohei Ohtani is arguably even better this year, yet the Angels are somehow a little worse. There were a lot of people picking the Angels to just run through the AL West and contend with the Astros, if not win the division, and be a formidable. I mean, I feel like they were top 10 in World Series future bets going into the season
for sure.
And Brig, I think we saw through it because we knew that that the Angels did not have the pitching to do so.
I think that's what we said. I don't remember. I have to go back and look, but I don't remember being as excited about it as I was.
Yeah. But it is crazy that Ohtani's better. It is absolutely nuts. A lot of people are talking about how he should be the MVP every single year as long as he's playing, because he does more than anybody. But at the same time, though, with a team that bad, I don't feel like you can give him the MVP every single year, because that's trouble.
It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, it is. Yep. All right, let's get into this week's games of the week.
Let's do it.
I forgot the biggest news of the day. We have to do this quick break.
I thought you were gonna skip it, but okay, let's not skip it.
How could I forget? I'm pumped about this. The World Baseball Classic has been announced.
Yes,
it's been announced, and it's gonna be here in Phoenix in March. So if you want to come go to a baseball game with me, Brig, you're gonna be here, right?
I'm coming.
You want to come and go to a baseball game with us? World Baseball Classic. We're going to be here. We're going to go to Chase Field to enjoy the World Baseball Classic. The championship will be in Miami on March 21st. I got to go to that.
I might fly from your house to Miami.
There you go. Here's the whole tournament format. We'll go through this more in depth next week, but it's basically if you're familiar with the World Cup, it's basically the same format. You've got 4 pools, A, B, C, and D. Each has 5 teams, and the top 2 from each pool advance into the quarterfinals, and they have the semis, and then the finals. The semis and the finals will be in Miami. The quarterfinals on one side of the bracket will be in Miami. The other quarterfinals will actually be in Tokyo, Japan. They'll also be playing games in Taiwan and also in Phoenix, the other place. So super cool. Very excited about it. Like I said, we'll go more into depth with this on the big show next week, but we had to touch on it today because it is big time news and it's very exciting. All right.
Okay, let's get into this week's baseball games. This weekend, there's a lot of jockeying for position around the standings. Heading into the All-Star break is always a big ramp up. And then teams get a couple of days off, and it's a nice break, and everybody kind of resets a little bit. Some teams break, and some teams rejuvenate, and it's really, really fun to watch. So pay attention. Okay, first is this Friday on Apple TV, 8 p.m. Eastern, Pirates at Brewers. The Pirates found a way to beat the Yankees the other day, and it was bizarre. So I don't know what to tell you about that.
Well, then, Brig, the thing about that is that the Yankees, instead of throwing at them the next day for beating them, they put up 16 and didn't give up any. That's what
16
happens
to
when you
0.
get the Yankees, apparently.
Yeah.
When you're the Pirates.
The first day, or the first game was 5-2, and then the second game was friggin' 16-0. So it worked out. It was totally okay. However, I'm not okay with it. Okay. You can also watch at 10 p.m. Blue Jays at Mariners. That's a big deal game.
Huge series.
I don't think it's a big deal for the Blue Jays, but I think it's huge for Mariners.
They've lost. Okay, going into this series, Brig, the Blue Jays have lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
So they're on a little bit of a slide right now. I do think it is big for the Blue Jays because they need to figure themselves out. Yusei Kikuchi continues to struggle. I read an article today that said that they're considering all their options with him. Are they going to skip his next start? Are they just going to have him work on bullpens? Or are they going to send him down to AAA? They don't know what they're going to do with him. He's been a real problem for them, and I think they have other problems as well that's kind of infecting the clubhouse and the way things are going there. They have not been playing as well lately. The Mariners could get within striking distance, and I know there's a couple months left. We still got all of August to go, right? All of September to go.
All of September,
but you can establish a race
fast
at the break. Exactly, it goes by fast. If you start losing, it goes by even faster. So this is a huge series for Seattle, and I feel like the Blue Jays, because they need to figure themselves out.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, let's talk about Saturday. FS1, 4 p.m. Rays at Reds. The Rays have got to get back on track. If they don't, this could be it going into the All-Star break. If they start losing, it could be a problem. We'll see what happens after the All-Star game. But they got to get things figured out. And the Reds would be a great team to do that against, actually.
Really
Next, so that's at 4 p.m. on FS1. Fox at 7 p.m., according to your local listings. You can watch Giants at Padres. That's the one. Or Yankees at Red Sox. That's the other. Depends on which coast you're on. Brad, the royal we, will be watching the Yankees play the Red Sox. I don't know what you're doing with your life at that time.
I'll be watching the Yankees and Red Sox.
Okay.
I'll say that right now.
I can't believe I'm here watching this and not doing that, or doing this and not watching that right now, because last I checked, it was the 8th, and we were up by 1 run at Fenway. But I'll keep going. You look for me. Okay.
I got middle of the 9th, 6-5 Yankees.
Outstanding.
3 outs.
Both teams have been sliding for the Giants and the Padres. Everybody needs to kind of pull it together in that side of the house. I feel like this is particularly big for the Padres. I think the Giants are a good ball club, but the Padres need to win to keep a contention in that wild card race. Mm-hmm. It's just a huge deal. And then the Yankees got to beat the Red Sox because they got to beat the Red Sox. The end.
Well, and the Red Sox need to keep pace in the wild card too, I feel like. Because it's starting to get more competitive. It's starting to get a whole lot more competitive in the wild card.
It is. But they're not going to catch the Yankees in the race. They're still, 13 or 12 or 13 games back? Yeah, they're still
13 back, but they're only half a game up.
Exactly. So that's a wild card situation. Okay, Sunday, Wake Up in Baseball Sunday on Peacock, 12 o'clock noon Eastern, Angels at Orioles. This could be fabulous baseball, and it could be, especially if you're an Angels fan, this could be really good. But I don't feel like you should go to sleep on these Orioles, who suddenly are really good.
Yeah, they're more than pests.
They're not just a thorn anymore. Like, now they show up to play. I feel like Rutschman gave them the juice they needed, or something happened. Mm-hmm. And now it's fun again, or whatever. I don't know what's going on in Baltimore, but it is wild. Now, they're still not going to probably make the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen, but it is fun to watch. And I think they could really spoil the Angels' fun anyway.
Yeah, they could.
Like you said, they're trending in opposite directions. I like the way you put that. It's very, very good. ESPN 7 p.m. Yankees at Red Sox. Obviously, must-see TV. I told Olivia she had to go to bed tonight, and she threw a fit because she wanted to keep watching the Yankees play the Red Sox. She was like, "Dad, but we didn't win yet." And I'm like, "You're such a good little kid. Like, you're I have to be raising her right, put you to sleep." but I hate myself a little bit for making you sleep on a Yankees Red Sox series. I really do. It was really funny. Okay, and then Other series we need to watch. Brad, what do you think? What else? Are there any other series I'm watching Yankees Red Sox all weekend. What else?
Well, I'm watching Mariners and Blue Jays. That I've got all eyes on that, and that's a big one in the Northwest because a lot of fans come down from Canada and cheer for the Blue Jays. So that's a big one up there. But also the other one that I want to see is the Marlins at the Mets. The Marlins are 3 games out of the wild card going into Thursday. The Mets could very well bury them at this point if they sweep them or take 3 out of 4. Now it obviously depends on other teams in the wild card what they do, like the Padres and stuff this weekend. But at the same time, though, the Marlins have made somewhat of a push to get back in that race, and I'm not saying they're going to be out of it, right? There's, like we said, there's still a couple months left, but it also goes quick. You've got to close ground when you can, and they're not going to catch the Mets, but they can certainly ride that wave of momentum going into the All-Star break and close some ground on the wild card if it's made available, because the Mets are very good, and that would be big time for the Marlins to even, I feel like, get a split.
Even a split 2-2 would be huge for Miami.
But if they lose 3 or 4 of those games, they're going to be in trouble.
I think it'll come down to
looking to sell.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to pitching dynamics. Because if Sandy Alcantara pitches, they can win one of those games depending on who they face, who the Mitch. I don't know who Mitch is. Who the Mets put on the mound the day they face Sandy will determine whether or not that game goes one way or the other. I feel like.
So game 1 is over. Game 1 of that series is over. The Mets won 10-0.
Whew.
Could be a long weekend in New York.
Holy crap.
For the Marlins.
Okay, so sorry for you Miami fans. We love you, though. We really do. It is a rough season, but you got some real bright spots. Okay, before we go tonight, in case you missed the announcement, Baseball Together, me and Brad, we are now partnered with Chinook Seedery. These folks right here, they make the best, and I'm not just saying that because it's on their packaging, but they are the best seeds ever. The best seeds I've ever had. I can't decide which flavor I like the most. It doesn't matter. I'll stop talking about them, but I could gush for a long time. We've now partnered with them, and you can get 10% off your order by using BT Pod at checkout. That's Bravo Tango Papa Oscar Delta. Baseball Together podcast, right? You can see what I did there. BT Pod. Okay. Use code BT Pod, 10% off. That supports us and the show. We get a little kickback. You get 10% off. Everybody wins. They really are the best seeds ever. So use BT Pod at checkout. ChinookSeedery.com is the logo. And you can check out our Instagram. What did I say? The logo?
The logo.
No. That's the ChinookSeedery.com is the website where you can go purchase those. You can also access our Instagram account where we have links to their stuff as well. And we can start debating flavors, man, because they got 6 of them that are rock'em sock'em. They're so good.
They're fantastic.
Brad, what's your favorite?
I'd have to say the Hatch chili is my favorite, but dill pickle surprised me, and it's rapidly approaching. It tastes more like fried pickles than an actual dill pickle, and I love it so much.
True story.
Because they have that lightly roasted flavor, but
they do.
Anyway, but don't forget again to support check out the Big Show. We call it. Comes out every Tuesday morning on every single podcast app where you get your podcast, and also YouTube. Like, subscribe, rate, review. Let us know what you think about what we're doing. You can do that on the podcast apps or in the YouTube comments, or send us an email in the mailbag. There's a link to that in the description of every single episode, and also on baseballtogether.com. Hop on the shop 9plusus.com, spell it out NINEPLUSUS.com. Get yourself something nice. Brig, you got the baseball and chill shirt tonight?
Baseball and chills. Well, and
I've got my KBO tribute hat going tonight. But baseball family, thank you again for joining us for another one of our Thursday Night Lives. We will catch you next week.